everyone, it's Anna from Viking Stitches. Thank you for joining me again. Hello to anyone who's new, and thank you for coming back, anyone who's a returning viewer. Sorry that it's been a bit of a gap. I lost my stitching bug a bit the last sort of kind of some of February and a fair bit of March. I just didn't have the energy to deal with stitching. I didn't do very much stitching. You may have seen on my Instagram, I've started doing like a monthly sort of collection. No, that's not the word I'm looking for. I don't know what the word. Overview of how much I've stitched. So like how many stitches I've done, how many projects I've worked on, did I do my whip go, and all of that. And yeah, I think in March I did like less than 2,000 stitches in the whole month. It's not a lot. And I think part of the reason was that I was getting a bit burnt out with all the cross-stitch games I'm in on Facebook, so I left a bunch of them. I left most of them. So I'm currently still in Fandom Stitching Central, I'm in Whip Warriors, and I'm in the Adventure Stitchy game or something like that. So I've kept those for sort of different reasons for each of them. I may reduce it even more, I'm not entirely sure, but at the moment I think this is working all right. And I'm sort of mostly working from the Fandom Stitching Central prompts. I like their prompts, and trying to do loads of different prompts each month was just not working, so I had to make a choice, really. But I do enjoy having prompts, so I'll stick with that for now. Maybe I'll give it up at some point and just focus on stitching, I'm not sure. And maybe at some point I'll join a bunch of them again when I don't have 2 young children who take up all of my time. So also, if you follow me on Instagram, you may have known that we went to Iceland for the first, well, technically we flew out on the 30th of March. So technically we left in March. But yeah, so we spent about 12 days in Iceland, which was really nice. It was nice to see family. Nice just to be in my own culture for a bit. But it's always a bit like the kids love going to Iceland. They're always very excited to go to Iceland. They're always excited to see, we stay at my mum's place when we go there. Always very excited to see Amma, which is grandmother in Icelandic. But they also, you know, I think I mentioned before, my son is diagnosed autistic. I'm starting to suspect my daughter is probably on the spectrum as well. And yeah, they need their routine. So, you know, I'm filming this on Sunday the 14th of April. So my son's going back to school tomorrow. My daughter went to nursery on Friday. We came back on Thursday. She went back to nursery on Friday. And then we've just tried to do a really chill weekend. So like we went to National Trust this morning, and now I come back and they're downstairs chilling while I try and film this. Hopefully won't be interrupted. But yeah, so we're just having a chill time. And yeah, but being on holiday did give me more time to stitch. So let's crack on with that. So I kind of got my stitch bug back like right at the end of March. So the first thing I really worked on was Midna. This is a Pink of the Pink pattern. The artwork is by Hannah Alexander, charted by Pink of the Pink. She has, or Make It Pink, she's Pink of the Pink on Instagram. Her website is Make It Pink. She has loads of uber cool patterns, so definitely check her out. So I have all of her Legend of Zelda patterns, and the first one I'm doing is Midna. I haven't touched her really, so I restarted Midna. For those of you that are new, I restarted Midna back in October, I think. Didn't really do much until December, and then there were some prompts on one of my groups that really worked for her, so I stitched, I think, like 1,300 stitches on her in November. And then I decided towards the end of March that I really wanted to get her out again. I hadn't touched her for like 2 months. So I did a bit at the end of March, and then when I went back into, because I'd pretty much dropped out of my stitchy groups, when I went back into it at the start of April, I was able to use her for some prompts. So, right, this is the full pattern that has also the background from Crafty Gurumi. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correct. Crafty Gurumi has added this background, which is amazing. So I'm very excited about that. But yes, this is the full version. This is where it was last time you guys saw it. So that's how that looked. And then this is where we are now. So let me see. I've done 1,100 stitches since last video. That gets me to, so that gets, sorry, I've actually made notes this time. So that gets me to, I've done 2,790 stitches out of 60,184 stitches, and that's not including the background, which is another 26,375 stitches. So it's a lot of stitches. It's going to take me a while. But yeah, so I did a fair bit. I started my first use of Krynic. I've never used Krynic before, and I now understand why it's referred to as the devil's pubes, because oh my god. But yeah, that it does come out really well though. I don't know if you can see it here, but it is quite sparkly and pretty. And then you can just see the start of her sleeve coming down here. And I think this bit is her arm. Is a bit all over the place because I realized I was missing a thread that I can't remember. It was one type of thread, but because this one does a lot of like thread mixes, so like there's this bit of this color, and then the next bit will be 1/3 of this one, and then 1/3 of the one that I'm missing, and then the thread that I'm missing, 2/3 of that, and then the thread that I'm missing and another color. So there's this whole section here that I couldn't do while we were in Iceland because I was missing one type of thread, which is quite annoying. And I thought about going and just buying it while we were in Iceland, but I'd already done that. And it is quite expensive to buy thread in Iceland, so I was like, my husband might kill me if I do that again. So I was like, no, I'll leave it for now. We'll just work with what we have. But yeah, I'm quite happy with that. Did I just, yes, I did. Knock that off. Excuse me while I fix that. There we go. So yeah, I'm quite happy. I tried to like fill in bits that I had missed. So as you can see, like there's a bit here that I haven't filled in. There were a couple of other bits like that I filled in here. Filled in some bits up here. And here as well. But yeah, I'm quite happy with that. We got a good amount done this month. Yeah, so I'm excited to keep going with that. The next one that I'm going to show you guys is Aurora. So I finally made some progress on that. So I think if you're new here, I bought this Dimensions gold kit that is out of print. I had to order it from the Netherlands, have it sent to Sweden to where my aunt lives, because of Brexit, they won't send, if it's only like a small amount, they won't send it to the UK because it's not worth it for them, which is fair enough. But I didn't want loads of stuff. I couldn't afford to buy loads of stuff. So I had it sent to my aunt because she lives in Sweden, and then my aunt sent it over to me. So eventually I got it, and then because this has lots of backstitch and French knots and couching and whatever, I wanted to convert it into a Cross Stitch Saga compatible file. So that took several months to do, in part because something kept happening. I still don't know what was happening, but the file kept like disappearing. There was some sort of error on my I have a very old computer, like laptop kind of thing. I don't use it very much because it's very old. It doesn't work very well. And I eventually resorted to just like religiously doing backups so that if anything happened, then it would be fine. And I eventually was able to do it. So I finally started it last month. I did show you guys in the previous video, like I think I did like 5 stitches. Excuse me. And I think after that I got about 100 stitches in, and then realized I'd made a mistake on I think the 3rd stitch, so I had to frog almost all of it. But I've since made plenty of progress. I'm using her for a prompt this month, several prompts in fact, so she's been getting lots of love. I went to the Kindred Spirits Stitchy afternoon day, which is just around the corner from where I live. So I had about 6 hours of stitchy goodness working on her. So she's gotten a fair bit of work in this month, which I'm quite happy with. But I will show you. So this is the kit. She is gorgeous. And I blame Stitching Moon completely for this, because I saw her buying this kit somewhere. She'd managed to get her hands on a copy. And I fell in love with it immediately. And then also Books and Stitches was one of my favorites. She has been working on this one for quite some time. I think it's her oldest whip, and she's almost finished with it. I think she's finished all the half stitches and cross stitches. She only needs to do like the back stitches and couching and that sort of thing. So go and have a look at hers if you want to see the full version. But yeah, I'm not going to stick the previous picture because it was literally like 5 stitches. So I'm just going to show you where I'm at immediately, which is there. So let me see if I can point this out. So this is the bear here. This bit, and just slightly into the dress here. I'm gonna try and get this closer so you maybe can see like the blends in there are really stunning. I really love it. It's really gorgeous in person. It just really gives it such a depth. I absolutely love it. But yeah, so I have done 1,120 stitches out of 28,185.5. The 0.5 will then be like back stitch or something. That's why it's counting it as half. But yes, I'm quite excited about this, and she's stitching up quite nicely and quickly. And yeah, just let you have a look at that again. Yeah, lovely colors, gorgeous colors. I'll show you like the, I'll try to tidy up the threads because they come on these like cards that you get from Dimensions. But you can see the sort of color schemes there, maybe. So there's that one, and there's that one, and then we have this one, this big boy. I think this is all of the like background colors, or most of the background colors. We have some, what's it called? Filament, sparkly kind of thing. So that's going to be stunning. So yes, I love this. I love this kit very much. I'm very excited about it. But yes, let me put her away. And I actually, someone at the Stitchy Day yesterday was showing me how to do loop start and finish. So it was the finish, like I've done loop starts before, but only with like if it has 2 threads, and I've never been able to do a loop finish. So she showed me how to do a loop finish and also a loop start from the front, and also loop starts with like an odd number of threads, which is quite useful. And like she was saying to me, that just means that she never has to flip her frame around. She just does everything from the front, and it's no problem. So I think I'm going to start doing that, because I hate having to flip my frame around. It's such a hassle, especially if it's like a big scroll frame, and it's just such pain in the behind. So yes, I did a few starts and finishes yesterday that like that on Aurora. Sorry. So yeah, I think I'm gonna continue with that. I quite like it, and it will make my stitching faster, which I quite need. Anyways, so I have a new start. I think I mentioned this in my last video. I bought this pattern here from Kits by SA Stitches. This is Winter Rabbit. So Kits by SA Stitches has loads of patterns, and they're stunning. There's so many I want. But she has a whole series of like winter animals. So I've started this one. Let me get it out. Is it this one? Yes. And it's part of we're doing like a sort of sal with one of my stitchy groups, like my in-person stitchy group, not my Facebook stitchy groups, although they are on Facebook. But yeah, so everyone's basically, or those people that are taking part, I don't think everyone's taking part in it, but those people that are taking part are basically just getting a pattern from that artist. We're not all doing the same thing. So I chose this one because I've been wanting to do her, that I give us an excuse to buy one of the winter animals, because I want to do all of them. So I started the rabbit. I got this lovely green, this is a 28 count, which I quite like. I'm always kind of torn between whether to go for like an even weave or an Ada, even though I know that Ada is even weave, but anyway, because it is easier to see things on Ada, like an 18 count or 14 count even, but I just like the look of the final look of the pattern, so you're not seeing the holes as much. Anyways, I'm blabbering. So yeah, I decided to go with that in the end. I always do this to myself. But yeah, so I made a start on the rabbit. So I'm here, and this is the sweater, gray bit of the sweater. And I'm only 200 stitches in. There's 5,146 stitches total in this. So it's not like my biggest pattern, but also not my smallest pattern. But yeah, I've got that in. That was quite nice. And it's been stitching up fairly quickly. Right, what are we gonna do next? So I've done Pretty Little Hong Kong. This is the full pattern, and this is where we were last time. I've only done another 100 stitches. And that's where we are with that. So I think it was mainly this blue up here, if I remember correctly. So it's one of those things that I really want to get done, but I also want to get lots of other stuff done. So it's kind of hard to balance that. However, I have made more progress on Pretty Little New York, which is another one of the city patterns that I've been wanting to. So this, I forgot to mention. I mentioned this in my other videos. So these are patterns that I bought when I was pregnant with my son, who is now 6 years old. It was supposed to be for his like travel themed nursery, and as you can see, that didn't happen. But I finished one pattern, Pretty Little Tokyo. I can flash that up on here now. And you can see I was a bit of a newbie back then because I did not leave much of a border, which is slightly terrifying. But I have some plans to fix it, which I'll get to whenever I get around to finishing this. But yes, Pretty Little New York. This is the finished pattern. This is where I was last time, and this is where we are now. So I did end up having to frog a load of stuff here because I'd made a mistake somewhere. So yeah, that was fun. I think I frogged all of the purple here and a load of the blue and some of the purple and blue here. But I've redone that. I've added in back the purple and even some more. So yeah, we're making progress. It's getting there. All right, let's put you guys away. So yeah, Pretty Little Hong Kong, I'd only done 100 stitches. Pretty Little New York, I'd added in another 300 stitches since last time you saw this. So Pretty Little Hong Kong is at 400 out of 8,771, which puts it at 4.56%. And Pretty Little New York is at 2,112 out of 7,052, which is at 28.9%. So it's coming along. And I forgot to mention percentages with the previous one. So the Winter Rabbit's at 3.88%. So you can tell it's not that big because it's only 200 stitches, but it's at 3.88%. Aurora's at 3.97%, and Midna is at 4.63%, despite having nearly 3,000 stitches in. Which for me is big. I know that, you know, there are people that do really big patterns, but yeah, that's not me. So next one we're going to do is my Lord of the Rings patterns. So I have a set of patterns from Mia Stitch, which is all of these three. It's these aren't their proper official names, but I call them the Shire, the Mordor, and the Rivendell pattern. I haven't started Rivendell. I started Mordor in November and got a load of stitches in then because I was using it for a lot of prompts. And Shire I started in January, so it's not as far along. We can start with Mordor. So this is what it looked like last time you guys saw it. I've only done 200 stitches. But that brings it to 4,403 stitches out of 18,802 stitches, taking it to 23.4%. And this is where we are now. So it's coming along. I think I've added in, I think it was mostly down here in the tower. Yeah. But you can see it's there's a lot of like gradients and stuff, which is why like there's bits here missing out because that'll be a different color, and same thing over here. Although there are some bits like I think some of this is just going to be left unstitched white, but it will look really cool. I think it will look really cool. It will. And then Shire. So I've done 300 stitches since last time. You guys saw it, which takes it to 830 stitches out of 16,587, and that is 5% done. So I need to see which way this faces. This way. So I think it's mostly, I think some of the purple around the door, and then green down here definitely wasn't there last time you guys saw it, but it's coming along. There's a lot of green in it. So yeah, I'll take breaks from it because it will drive me mad if I'm going to try and draw the green at once. I don't know how monogamous stitchers do it. I don't think I'd be able to do it. Right. So let's do the stained glass Zelda next. Try and find it. There you are. So I have this pattern here, which I call my stained glass Zelda. It's an Ocarina of Time pattern, for those of you who are familiar with Zelda games. This particular pattern that I bought, the shop is no longer there, but I have seen someone else clearly doing the same pattern. I don't know who was the original. It may be just people taking artwork from off the internet and like running it through a pattern converter, which isn't ideal, but I bought this when I didn't know that about all of that kind of thing. Anyways, so I'm doing this, I'm doing it on a easy count fabric 25 count, and I'm doing it 10 stitch because it's so big. It's like 280,000 stitches, which is by far my biggest project. So yes, I've done 610 stitch since last time, which takes me to 1542 and 0.55% done. So there's a lot left. But this is where it was when you guys saw it last. And this is where we are now. So you can see here, I always forget his name, Raru or something like that. The Sage of Light, I think. His face is starting to come along. I did try and like do parking on this, and then I realized I hate parking. It's not for me. So this is definitely the most cross country I've ever done. You can see the back here is all over the place. My backs do not usually look like that. Not that I'm not like a stickler for backs. Like, I try to keep it like kind of tidy, but you know, I'm not gonna fuss over it too much. It doesn't need to be perfect, but yeah, it's not usually that bad. But it kind of, I don't really know what else to do with this, because like it's confetti hell, really. But I'm hoping it's gonna turn out well in the end. But yeah, you can see his face coming along there. So yeah, I'll probably work on that a little bit this month, because for some of the prompts on the Fandom Stitching Central group, if you don't have anything that works for the prompt, you can use a full coverage instead. They've decided to make that rule this year. So this one and Aurora are my only full coverages, which is why Aurora is getting a fair bit of a look in. Yeah, so I might use that a little bit this month as well. And then we have what I call my Galaxy cats. They don't really have a proper name. I can't really remember what the shop is called. No, I can't remember. I'll put it up here. But yes, so this is the pattern. This is when I first was starting to fall down the rabbit hole of Etsy. And I fell in love with this pattern, and I had to have it. And then I haven't stitched that much on it, sod's law. But this is where I was last time you guys saw it. And then this is where we're at now. So we've got kind of a bit of one of the cats. Sorry I keep using my middle finger, it's just kind of easiest. I'm not trying to flip you guys off. It's the easiest to sort of point things out. But yeah, there's a cat. There's a bit of a flower, and then I think this is part of the moon here. Yeah. So that is, so I've done 200 stitches since last time you guys saw it. which takes me to 393 stitches. So as I said, I haven't gotten very far with that one. Out of 4,572.5, and that is 8.59%. So it's still, you know, it's not a big pattern. Sorry guys, slight interruption there. So what did I do last? I did the Galaxy Cats. So what else have we got left that I worked on? I did 100 stitches on the Anne of Green Gables stitch along. It is one of the few stitch alongs I have joined, and as usual, I did not keep up with it, but that's fine. So this is from Stitching Book Club. This is what the final version will look like. This is what it looked like last time you guys saw it. I only did 100 stitches, it wasn't a lot. But here we are. I do love the color scheme in this, like especially the like pink and green. It's just really, yeah, it's really pretty. So I think I did some of the lettering here, and then I filled in some of this bit here. Yeah, so that's where we are with that one. And then I think the last one I will show you guys is I did 100 stitches on Katie Kitty, which is from the Brooks Books Advent Animals. They're freebies on her website, so you can Google them and have a look. And they're just little ones. I've seen people do it that in like a big pattern. I'm gonna do them as individual like ornaments, and I want to get them done fairly quickly so that because I kind of want them for when the kids are little, because they're kind of cutesy. I can't remember if I said, but this is what Katie Kitty will look like fully finished, and this is where I'm at now. This is where I was at, sorry, and this is where I'm at now. There we go. So we can see she has like a little fish here, and her little cape is, I think, done, almost done. There's like a button left or something. Her face is still kind of scary, and I need to finish her feet. And then this is going to become, I think she's number 1, because it's an advent calendar, and it's in kind of a candy cane stripy kind of thing, and then there'll be a little frame around there. So yeah, started that. But yes, that is all the stitching I've done since I last filmed a video, which was mid-February. So yeah, that's Katie Kitty. I'm 400 stitches in out of 887. However, that's not counting backstitch or anything. So I'm 45.1% done with the cross stitch, not all of it. So yeah, that's everything I've stitched. So what else was I going to talk about? So, right, let's try that again. So haul, little bit of haul. I think I mentioned in a previous video that I wanted to join the Climbing Goat Sal, the James Webb Telescope one. So Climbing Goat Design is the designer. But yeah, I seen someone in my local group was stitching this stitch along, and I saw it and it was really cool, so I wanted to join in. So I've got the fabric now, and now I've actually bought the Sal. I just need to get threads for it, and then I can actually start it. But we'll see when that happens. I don't know when that's going to happen. But so this is what's been released, and I think it's really stunning. Especially this the Pillars of Creation one is my absolute favorite. Looks very cool. So yes, I shall be doing that at some point. What else did I have? Right, so my next bit of haul. So bit of a prerequisite. I have been listening to / watching Dungeons and Dragons shows or podcasts for several years now. It's quite good fun, and I wanted to start playing myself, but I haven't had a chance to until about 6 months ago because I couldn't find anyone to actually play Dungeons and Dragons with. But I found an online group. We've been playing, for about 6 months now, and we recently met up in person just before we went to Iceland. I don't think that they'll see this video ever, but if you do, turn it off. You're not allowed to see what is coming up next. Go away. This is not for you. Not yet. But yeah, so when we met up, some of the players turned up with some handmade gifts, and I've been thinking about doing this, but I was kind of like, oh, they're gonna think I'm weird and like over the top, so I didn't do it. And now I've decided, well, they've been doing it, so I'm gonna do it as well. So what I want to do is make some dice trays and have like a cross-stitch pattern in the bottom of it. So this is the cross-stitch pattern that I bought. It's a little dragon, very on theme for Dungeons and Dragons. But what I want to do is I want to change them according to their favorite colors, because it had kind of come up. So I know what are their favorite colors. So I'm trying to change it myself. I've put the pattern to markup and use that to manually change the colors. It's not the easiest to do because markup doesn't show the back stitch, so it makes it a bit harder to work out what I'm trying to do, but I think it's all right. So I've started changing one, and I think it's coming along all right. So we'll see. But yes, so I have until our next meetup, which probably won't be until sometime next year. So I probably have a good year to make all of these, which is slightly worrying. But they're not that big. Let me see. They are, come on, open up. Is it really only that? Yeah, I think it is. So it's under 2,000 stitches each. So as long as I don't faff around for ages, for too long, trying to sort out the color scheme, then I think it's quite doable. Like 2,000 stitches isn't that much, but it's quite a lot of colors. There's a lot of like, I probably shouldn't show that online actually. Yeah, there's a lot of colors in it, which makes it really quite pretty because you get like a really lovely gradient. But yeah, I need to mess around with that. And then was there something else in my haul? Have I gotten everything? Oh yes. So I think I forgot to mention this. I signed up earlier this year for the Shannon Christine Designs like Christmas collection, whatever you want to call it. So at the moment she's doing these Christmas mugs. I missed out for the first one, and basically the way her it works, so you have to sign up and you pay every month, and then you get a freebie every month. So you're essentially paying whatever it is, whatever it costs that month to buy those. I think it's about £8 or something per month. Anyway, but they're quite pretty. Yeah, we'll just go with this one so you can kind of see this in markup. So I don't think I have all of them uploaded into markup, but they're these like Christmas mugs, like there. I missed out on the first one, which was a reindeer, so I'm gonna have to buy that separately. I think I already said that, didn't I? But yeah, they're quite pretty, and they'll be really nice to work on at some point. But it was one of those things where I was just like, oh my god, I love that, I have to grab it. So I've been slowly picking those up every month, and that's it. Not a lot of haul. The last thing I want to talk about is just Flosstubes, what I've been watching. The ones I want to mention, I have a fair bit to mention this month. So I'll start with the ones that are my like regulars that I watch all the time. Like as soon as they post videos, these Flosstubers, I will watch them. So the first one is Lunar Witch Stitchery. Just their like taste in patterns really aligns with mine. They've recently I say it was like latter half of last year, they were moving house, so they didn't post a lot of videos, understandably. So I was quite happy when they started posting videos again earlier this year, and I've been watching whenever they post, I will watch it. Another one of my favorites is Books and Stitches. I will always watch her videos as soon as they come out. Well, I say as soon as they come out, as like if I'm going to watch Flosstube, like that's one of the people that I will check, do they have a new video? So yeah, I love her. And as I mentioned earlier, she's been working on Aurora. She's almost finished with hers, which is really lovely to see. She also has a big soda stitch pattern that I always love watching, because I really love a lot of soda stitch patterns. They're really pretty. They're on my wish list. I haven't had a chance to buy any of them yet because, as usual, there are too many patterns for me to buy. But I love watching her work on that. So she's combined 9, they're like fairy tale soda stitch patterns. She's combined them into one big piece. Really beautiful. And I love watching her progress on that. And another one of my favorites is she's doing, so if you're into musicals, she's doing a pattern that's like from the musical 6. She's currently just working on the frame around it, but I'm very excited to see when she starts doing the actual characters. I think it's going to look really cool. Another one of my favorite Flosstubers is Crafty Gaming Jamie. She posts a lot, which is quite nice, and I quite like her format in that she'll, I think she films like almost every day, but she'll just combine it into a longer video. And she does this thing where she has like a spinner thing, and she'll like choose what she's going to stitch on that day based on that spinner, which is quite fun to see. And she has like lots of goals, like she wants to finish certain projects this year and stuff like that, so it's quite fun to watch her progress on that. And she also has like similar taste in patterns as me. Like she has a Make It Pink pattern, and I know that she's planning on, she's not currently working on a Zelda Make It Pink. She's doing Kira from the Disney movie Atlantis, but she's making quite good progress on that, and I know that she has at least some of the Zelda patterns from Make It Pink, so she's planning to do those at some point. And she has some other gaming sort of nerdy themed patterns, which suits me quite well because I'm a massive nerd. Another one is Stitching Moon, that I mentioned earlier. She's the reason I have Aurora. But she's also one that has kind of recently returned. She had a baby towards the end of last year, so understandably she's been a bit busy. And I think they also moved house. And actually I know they moved house because I watched it in her video. And I'm really jealous, because she's now being able to film, like she films so that you can see out her window and you can just see the most stunning view. Like it is absolutely gorgeous, the view that they have out the window. Very jealous. Makes me a bit homesick because it's just sort of like Nordic mountain view and everything. But yeah. Who else do we have? Sorry, got interrupted there. So Stitchy Written is another one of my favorites. They do lots of like nerdy patterns, which is right up my alley. They also have a Ko-fi, whatever you call it, where they upload a lot of patterns. A lot of them are free because they're like licensed, whatever you call it. So like they're currently in the process of uploading Final Fantasy patterns. I'm waiting for them to get, I think it's mainly the logos at the moment. I'm waiting for them to get to like Final Fantasy 7 and onwards, because I'm very excited about that. I will definitely be downloading some of those. And they're just like, they're like quirky and have a fun sense of humor. I quite enjoy them. And the last one is a new channel, Nerdy Stitchy Witchy. I think she's only got a few episodes in, but I quite enjoy it. And again, just seems to be my kind of Flosstuber, sort of nerdy patterns. And I think she's mentioned a lot of the Flosstubers that I've mentioned here, so we clearly have similar tastes in patterns. So I'm quite excited to see what she has in store for us. And yeah. Right, I think that's everything. I will try not to make it as long a gap between episodes again, but we'll see. Life is busy. Life's very busy. But yes, thank you for joining in, everyone. Thank you if you got to the end, because I've rambled on for quite a while. And yes, I will see you hopefully in about a month's time. Bye.